Hi everyone, this is Jen. I'm just going to take you through a few steps on how to set up and use Jamboards in your synchronous online teaching sessions. Now, Jamboards are really cool and there's a lot of features that can be useful, especially for our learners that aren't so super tech savvy and find that the Google Slides, although interesting and exciting, can be a little bit too much. Okay, so just let me get started here. You should be able to see my presentation on the board. I'm using the Google Meet feature here, so I'm just, okay, good. So again, Google Jamboards are already installed. You don't have to worry about downloading any extensions or doing anything different for your Jamboards. You already have access to them. So the question is, do you want to find a way to increase your learner participation and engagement during online classes? Again, using Google Slides in online classes can sometimes be a bit much for the students, so you want to make sure to give them options that are just a little bit easier. Because you don't want them to feel like they're going to delete something or not know what to do. So again, like I mentioned, Jamboards are already installed inside your Google application launcher. Google Jamboards are similar to slides in many ways, but the most important is that they are shareable and editable, and they have intuitive features. And I'm going to show you some of those features in just a moment. So you're able to create individual Jamboards for your students in case they want to work on something by themselves, or you can create collaborative Jamboards where you can take up activities, do teamwork, and things of that nature. So again, Jamboards are actually really, really popular in the elementary school system because they are so easy to use and students don't get lost as much. So where do you find your Jamboards? Again, like I mentioned, in your application launcher. You're going to go up to that 9-dot, drop down. It might be down a little bit further. You're going to have to scroll down. You're looking for a yellow J. Just click on that Jamboard. First time you open it, there won't be anything there because you haven't actually opened any yet. So that's what that looks like here. And you can tell in the presentation I'm using right now, I'm actually in Google Jamboard, and it doesn't have presentation mode like Google Slides does. So again, there are some features that don't exist, but that's by design. So again, if you have opened up your Jamboard, all you got to do to create a Jamboard, just like most Google Docs and applications and slides, you're looking for that plus sign, and it's usually located in the bottom right-hand corner. For Jamboard, it's within an orange circle with a little plus. You're just going to click it, and it immediately opens up a template for you. This is what you're going to see. You're going to be able to see a bunch of oops, let me just go back over that. I'll look at the features first and then I'll come back to the background. So when you've opened up your Jamboard, you're going to notice that there's like a tray on the left-hand side, and that tray just has basic features, and you're going to be able to see that starting from the top. You've got your pen tool, and of course, if you click on it, you can change color and thickness. You can make it a marker. You can make it a highlighter. Highlighters might be good if you want it to you want people to identify certain grammatical structures in a text or something of that nature. And then you've got the eraser button, so somebody's made a mistake, they can erase. There's your arrow, right? Same feature that has in most other Google functions or applications. Sticky note. Sticky notes are kind of cool. They allow you to interact a little bit. Students can use sticky notes to drag and move answers around the page, and I'll show you how that can happen in just a moment. You also have the feature to add image, add shapes. There's circles, squares, arrows, triangles, add text, and there's a laser feature here. So if you're presenting something and you want students to be able to find or follow what you're talking about, for example, you can go ahead and use your laser function. So I'm using that right now. And at the top of your session, at the top of your screen, sorry, you will see the option to undo a particular action, and it's right at the top left-hand side of your screen. Beside that, you can zoom in. You can also play around with your text styles. This one is under normal, but you can do title or subtitle. You can change the color. You can change the alignment. And the one thing that you'll notice that's different is that the thumbnail section in Jamboard is located at the very top of the screen. And you don't see the same kind of thumbnails that you do in Google Slides, which are located on the left-hand side of the screen over here, which is good because that's kind of distracting. And in order to be able to open up the thumbnails just a little bit more, you'll notice a little tiny drop-down arrow. I'm going to show you that in just a moment. Yeah, right now. So you'll see at the top of this particular presentation where I took the screenshot, I had 8 complete slides. And if I wanted to expand it, I'm just going to click on that little drop down arrow, and it's going to then show all the slides. And I'll show you what that looks like in a moment. I have the option right there as well to be able to add a new slide in any segment of the Jamboard, and I can duplicate and delete right from that 3 dot that you notice when you open up your slides. And you can see again here. Oh, no, I'm going to go back. And you can see how I'm using it. I can just scroll around the top to go forward and to go back. What you want to do, or what you might want to do, is change what your background looks like. You'll see here at the top of your screen, you have the option to set the background. If I click on that, it gives me some default options, and default's always white. But I can also change it to dots, line paper. I can change it to, you can't really see it very well showing up here, but you can change it to graph paper and change the color like that. You can change to deep blue. Maybe that looks a little bit better. Who knows? I mean, whatever's going to work for you. You can also upload your own image to the background. And this is really going to be helpful if you want to have static images like a chart or a table that aren't manipulatable. So in other words, students can't move them around the pages. So all you have to do is have that image already created and then just upload it to your frame. And you can do that. You can do a Google image search if you're looking for fruits and vegetables or other things that you might be interested in. But again, you can always upload. So if you've got your image already created, you can do that in Google Slides or whatever you want to do. It is really super simple to just upload it, choose the image, and now it shows up as the background image, right? Nothing really exciting here, except I've just got a flower in the background. So yeah, that's what that looks like. Now, what are some of the things that you can actually do inside of your Google Jamboard? Well, the reason why teachers are using it over Google Slides is that it is easier to grab and drag objects. So students are, like I said, it's easier for them to figure out where to do certain activities. So in this case, I've got a mess of food in the middle, and maybe we're reviewing count and uncount, count or non-count foods. So the activity might be, sort them. So ice cream. Can you count ice cream? I want ice cream. I want 3 ice creams. I don't know. Is it countable? I'm going to put it here. Chicken, they can just touch and drag. Avocados, you can count them. Apples, you can count. Water, well, depend. A bottle is countable, but the actual water isn't. Cheeses. let's leave cheese in the middle. Salmon, right? Bread, milk. And anyway, so students can do these activities. Now, again, what I mentioned earlier is that you can make a copy for each student inside your classroom, or you can, like I said, assign breakout rooms and make copies for groups. Groups can work together, and then you can debrief this inside the classroom. And again, students, all they have to do is drag and drop and then compare their answers. So that's one example of a drag and drop. And there's, like I said, tons of things you can do. So in this case, I put a background image on, so none of this is, you can't move this. It's anchored into the background of the screen, which is good because some things you don't want students to be able to move. Like you don't want them to move the shapes around in this case, but you might want them to, here's the stickies, right? You create the sticky notes, and you then are able, students are able to say A and F. So you look at A and F. A is not similar. A is different from F, right? And then students can put the answers in here. D and F are the same. D and F are different from G. Anyway, so students are able to work on these together, or do them on their own and then debrief them in class. So I'll show you another manipulable. So you might only have fewer options. Again, however you want to do this, students can drag and drop the answer into the text box like so. Okay. And then you might be doing a true and false activity in class. Maybe you're reviewing some concepts, and where the student number one, you might actually have student names. So the students all have their names on their slides, and then the teacher reads a statement, or the statement shows up. You can put the statement on in text in a text box, and then the students have to decide, is that true or false? So you put the text in the box and give the students a moment, and then they drag into their, oh, I think this is true. Student number 1 thinks it's false. 7 thinks it's true. And then you're able to see the students moving their answers around until everybody's got their answer in a section. And then, of course, you can have the answer slide show up as the next slide. So it's a good way to review some concepts really quickly. Another way you could use Jamboard is to maybe higher levels, or doesn't matter, depending on your text. Maybe you are reviewing parts of a paragraph or a sentence order. Anyway, sentence order. So maybe sequence markers after that, next, conditionals, and maybe this is the first part of the sentence here. You can make it bigger by dragging on it in the corner, right? And I don't know. I'm not actually reading this. I'm just showing you how you can touch on them and drag them around. And then once all they're in each box, see 1, 2, 3, 4. So in other words, we'll do it like this. Then you can actually go back and compare groups. Does mine look the same as somebody else's? What do you think is the correct order? And debate it like that. And let me see, there's a few others. Again, it's whatever, I mean, it's whatever you need to be able to do in the class. Jamboard just lets you do it a little bit easier for lower tech learners. So for example, maybe you're wanting to put the avocado into the bag, right? In this case, you've got a couple images already on your screen, and it's possible that your image needs to be adjusted a little bit so that it goes in front of another image. And to do that, you just drop on the 3 dot and change the order you want to send it back if it's already front. So if you send backwards, it's going to show up maybe here. Let me see. Did I change it? Order, bring to front. So you want this to be in the front so it shows up in the bag, right? And again, just by dropping on that 3 dot menu like that, you can change the order. Now, since you want the bag in this case to always be in the background image, it's probably a better idea to drop down, order, and make sure it's already in the back. But if it says bring forward, that's not what you want, because if it's forward, it doesn't, then it's going to be hiding some of the images. So you want to say send to back like so. And again, anyway, it just takes some playing with the images in order to get used to. A few other things just to mention. It's just the same process to share it with your students. You can share the Jamboard inside your Google Classroom really simply. There's a link. Just make sure that your link has been changed from private only to you, because then they're not going to, you can share that link, but they won't have any access to it. So that doesn't make any sense. So what you want to do is click in the top right-hand corner, drop down to the share menu. You want to change that link when it appears. So in other words, my link has already been adjusted. It says anybody at Thames Valley District School Board. And I can still change this, I think, to anybody. If you drop down in the menu, and you can also choose anyone with the link. Anyone with this link can edit. I'm going to change that to view, because I don't want anyone to accidentally change something. So you can just change your settings in here. Very important to do before you try to do this and share this inside your online class. And if you just want to make sure that your links are set properly, All you got to do is click and hover your mouse over the share icon in the top right-hand corner, and it will tell you what your share settings are. So when I want to go ahead and share it, I'm just going to grab the link. Anyone copy link like so, and it says your link has been copied. And then all I have to do is go into that Google Meet or into the Google Classroom, paste the link and give the link to the students, and the students will be able to get onto this right away. So again, this is just some of the main quick ideas on how to use a Jamboard. It's, like I said, very similar to Google Slides. It just doesn't have all the features of Google Slides. There's a few things that it doesn't have, like presentation and animation, but again, it's designed that way. It's designed to be simpler to use and easier for you to take advantage of the drag and drop, the manipulatives that make something just really simple and quick. So there's lots of different templates. It's always good to have templates where you've got like a chart already set up, and then you can copy that idea or copy the template and use these going forward. I've been trying to make a few examples inside these skill builders, and I'll continue to work on providing some examples for you. But again, that's it. That's how you use Jamboard. And if you like some of the text and the fonts that I've been using in this Jamboard presentation, I actually got them from a site called textgiraffe.com. And it's just a matter of going to this website, putting your text or choosing the font, and then copying that image onto the Jamboard. All right, so that's it. I hope that you enjoyed this presentation on using Google Jamboards, because again, it is something that's a little bit easier for your students to be able to use and manipulate. So if you have any questions, you can certainly get in touch with me. And that's it.